So, you want to become a Queen Grumble, eh? Well, you've come to the wrong place! You will never be a Queen Grumble due to the fact that you aren't even a Grumble. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Although, all this talk makes me wonder just how Queen Grumbles are made. Essentially, as many of you may have known, there are two types of Grumbles within the world of doors, those being normal ones and queens. Now, up until very recently, we didn't know how queens came to be, and there were a lot of theories floating around this topic. Some people said it could be genetics, others said certain Grumbles were chosen for the role. Either way, we had never had a conclusive answer to how Queen Grumbles became Queen Grumbles. That was until very recently, and that is precisely what I want to talk about in this video. Today, we'll be dissecting how exactly Queen Grumbles become royalty, as well as what this means for the overall story of the Grumbles. So with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so first I think I should explain what exactly a Queen Grumble is. Essentially, in the nest, there are 5 Grumbles in total, 4 of which are normal and the 5th is the Queen. Queens are notable for not only being bigger than their normal counterparts, but they are also more red in color. They also exhibit stronger skills than normal Grumbles, as they are faster and able to control their laughter more. Lastly, and most obviously, the Queen also comes with a mark on their head known as the Queen's Mark. Now, like most queen animals in the world, the Queen Grumble is vital to the entire species, serving as the main producer of offspring as well as the main protector of the nest. So with that brief summarization out of the way, how exactly do Queen Grumbles get their royal status? Well, fortunately, the developers revealed it to us. Essentially, a while back I made a lore video going over my original thoughts to this question, and fortunately, Redibles, who is a developer for the game, actually revealed the true answer in the comments section of that video. So without further ado, here's the full process of how to make a Queen Grumble. Alright, so unlike my original idea, which is that queens are born the way they are, in reality they are actually chosen by other Grumbles to have the queen status. How it works is that the strongest Grumbles in the colony, likely a female, steps up to the role, resulting in them taking the responsibility of protecting everyone else. As a new queen, the Grumble is then forced to grow larger than their body can handle, likely through eating. However, this growth transformation can also be the result of genetics and mutations. Either way, the queen becomes bigger, so big in fact that their body starts to stretch. This results in the queen's mark being on their head, which isn't a birthmark or a scar, but rather a stretch mark left behind from their growth process. So, queens aren't born but rather chosen. Then they grow and stretch to prepare for their role. Now, although that sounds like a rather simple and done deal, this video can't conclude without me explaining what this means for the Grumbles as a whole. Essentially, in my previous video over this topic, I stated that the entire Grumble and Giggle species was likely doomed to extinction due to Seek's infection, and that was because I thought queens were born as queens. However, now knowing that a Grumble can become a queen at practically any time, it means the species does have hope, and they aren't completely doomed, as they can just replace the queen that was infected at the end of Floor 2. However, this also means that Queen Giggles, or practically queen any stage of development prior to being a Grumble, doesn't exist, as only Grumbles can take on that role. This results in my original theory of a Grumble's life cycle being flawed, and so I've corrected it and will be explaining it now. Essentially, the life cycle starts at a Giggle, equivalent to a baby or toddler. Then, the Giggle grows up into an uninfected Screech. I mentioned this in my previous life cycle video, but due to the anatomical differences between a Giggle and a Screech, such as how Screeches are larger and have more teeth, we know that Screeches are in fact a little older than Giggles. This means that whatever Screeches looked like before being infected by Seek is the next stage of the development after a Giggle. Anyways, the uninfected Screech then matures into a normal Grumble, and this is the stage most members of the species end at. However, the strongest Grumbles then become queens, which is the final stage of the life cycle, and they serve to protect the whole nest. Now, there's one last thing I'd like to mention, and that is the line about genetics and mutations that Redibles mentioned. Essentially, it was stated that there were a few possible ways for a Grumble to grow when they are bulking up for the queen role, those being either they're fed or through genetics and mutations. Now, seeing how when a Grumble grows bigger they get stronger, and how genetics can contribute to their size, it's possible that certain Grumbles and Giggles are just part of a close lineage and are naturally bigger and stronger than others. This means that theoretically there could be a subclass of stronger members of this species who aren't necessarily queens, but they are more powerful than their normal counterparts. And that is pretty cool to think about. So I guess this technically means that a queen giggle could exist, if their genetics make them strong enough at their young age to give them straightened characteristics. Anyways, that was essentially the entire video. I just wanted to go over the process of how queen grumbles become queens, as well as what it means for the species as a whole. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.